not guilty. His actions were perfect. He shouldn't have made any different choices. Everything he did is fine.
Jury ruled correctly. Love this country.
What media had he been consuming that was encouraging these sorts of vigilante things? You should only pay attention. Hey, it turned out one or two of the people he shot had done bad things. Who took a gun he never should have had across state lines and went to this protest.
All three of them, actually.
If you hear a gunshot, you could just turn around and shoot someone. To shoot that unarmed man and kill him, okay? Execute him on the spot, execute the cop.
Only the
I mean, you hit him over the head with a skateboard. That counts as...
And the gun manufacturers are gonna be thrilled with this decision. And we
Probably.
can be killed at any time.
You better be the last person alive.
Stop radicalizing the public then.
Oh, you want to go?
That's a good thought.
Yeah.
My 17-year-old son, here, I'll drive you across state lines and do it. Oh, here's an AR-15.
We're allowed to
So
cross
in
state
case
lines in our
a
country.
butterfly floats by, you just murder everyone. Okay? I'm sorry, kill.
I mean, I don't get the urge to murder anybody, but whatever.
They're crazed. They can't wait to shoot people. Alex Jones, the Tim Pools, the Joe Rogans, millions of crazed Rambo wannabe right-wingers in this
Tim
country.
Pool?
Oh, yeah, why don't you just bring weapons? Self-defense.
Tim Pool doesn't strike me as Rambo, but okay.
They just want to kill. So they go into
You
the
just
middle
wanna
of protest
burn.
with these goddamn weapons, looking to pick a fight, and then the minute Rittenhouse actually
I think they
shoots
picked the
people,
fight with him.
they're
Yeah, they did.
ecstatic. They love that he killed them. They love that he killed them. That's why they're his fans. And some guy goes into the middle of a right-wing protest with an AR-15 and he's
I'm no
progressive.
fan of pedos,
And he
unlike
goes,
you guys.
I was being provoked.
I'm not either,
Somebody threw a
yeah.
plastic bag, the other one did a skateboard, so I killed him. I don't become a fan of that guy.
Yeah.
I don't become a fan of
Unless
that
he's a
guy.
pedo.
I'd say that's insane.
Unless, yeah.
A protest with an AR.
Which are making it very
They're
easy
gonna
to
pick
become a
fight so you
fan.
can kill
Yeah,
people.
very easy.
But the right wing in this country is steeped in violence.
Yeah.
They're soaked in blood. And they
Wasn't that a
can't
left-wing
wait to
riot?
kill.
Yeah, all
You
summer.
should be terrified.
Oh,
You
it
should
was
be
fiery, but
terrified.
mostly
We're gonna tell you
peaceful.
all
Sorry.
the people you
That's
should be
right.
scared of, so that you will never, ever again think about your economic situation, how the government has failed you, and why.
That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me just let me That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to
That's
get
a good
me
one.
home.
Absolutely
My balls keep
psychotic.
telling me to let me
And ignorant.
just let me That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and
Oh,
my
sorry,
thoughts keep telling me to get me
Sorry,
home,
everybody.
but my balls keep
Hey,
telling
everybody.
me to let me
It's Jeff Huffman.
Oh, that shit, just let me go.
Yeah, broadcasting live from the heart of Europe. This is the most badass DJ broadcast in all the land. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Tommy C. This is Top Point. I'm here with my partner there, on point, Jeff Huffman. And behind the glass, in the crease, wherever you want to be, Mr. Matt. How are you doing? How are you guys doing? Well,
Pretty good. I just got done cleaning all my guns.
you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. It's
That's right. You know, I
steeped in
have a
violence.
sick urge to just go in the middle of riots.
Whenever we riot, it's mostly peaceful.
It's fiery, but mostly peaceful.
You know, I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, all right, I'll give you like January 6th. That was a right wing riot. I think that's fair to say, right?
Yeah, that was the worst thing
Yeah,
that
yeah.
happened in American history. Worse than 9/11.
All right.
Mhm.
I can't
Yeah.
think of the last right wing riot prior to that. I'm 45. I literally can't think of one. Everyone I think of is usually, and most of the ones in my lifetime are over police violence or a
That wasn't a
issue.
riot. That was a coup d'état.
Coup d'etat. Yes, it was. It's coup. And thanks so much, the Ghetto or Ara. I can't say his name for some reason, but thanks so much for being such a great supporter. River,
Vegeta.
3 months.
I think it's Vegeta.
Vegeta. I can't. I know they are because I I see them on my Patreon all the time, but I don't know how to say. So the Rittenhouse verdict has come through. I think I have enough of the music. The Rittenhouse verdict has come through. Guilty on. Not
guilty.
You know,
Not guilty.
I gotta be honest.
Very
with you.
not guilty.
I'm actually
Fake
surprised.
news.
Yeah, I'm absolutely surprised they didn't get him on something. I think and the rumor is this: was it Juror 54? Every time you heard her speak, she had like a big Karen, and everybody was thinking she was Karen in for the left. But the rumor is she was Karen in the other way. that she was, I guess, trying to get the guy off, but we'll never know. And if I was that jury, I just don't go to the public. You don't need to.
Stay away.
See, that would be the normal thing to do.
Yeah, you can't resist but I tell you something, you really can't bitch about getting death threats if you put yourself out there, though. Yeah, you really, if I was a jury, look, you did your job, you did what was expected of you, and just go on with the rest of your life. The other rumor I'm hearing is there was no holdout over Kyle being guilty. It was more fear. That's the other rumor. The jury intimidation worked. They were aware of the pictures, and they were aware of the MSNBC douchebag following them through a red light, and that's maybe why it took as long as it did. And probably. Juror 54, the rumor is that she was the one that put the clamors like, we can't do that, blah blah blah. Who knows? I don't know. Whatever. I've never been in a jury, mostly because I was convicted of something. Not a felony like those jackasses, but that's probably what kept me out of it. They did call for me to do jury duty once when I was in Germany. Actually, I was in Iraq, and the bureaucrats at New Jersey, I guess the jury selection, said said that they weren't sure that was a good excuse for not showing up. I forget the word they used.
This is when you were in the
Yeah, I was in Iraq, and they called me for jury duty, and I called my father's house, and my father, he's in the military, and they weren't sure whether that was not an excuse for showing up.
That's a lot of money.
I
guess,
I was like, "Are you serious?" And then my father called me back, and he said they called again. So I went to my commander, and somebody got in trouble.
Sorry. I'm busy dodging mortars right now. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it.
They were threatening my father, and I had to go to my commander, and they're like, "Who? Where? Give me the number." And somebody, my unit was like furious. I was like, they're calling my dad, threatening him and stuff, saying that I got to be there like next Tuesday.
To America to do jury duty?
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall on that.
Well, my father said something. In fact, he said it politely. I have no reason not to believe him. He's like, he's in war. He was. I think I might have been in Kuwait at the time, going to Iraq, and we're not aware that this is a valid excuse, and I'm not a valid reason or something like that. And then he kind of like let it go, and they kept sending letters, and they kept calling the house, and I called my commander, and from what
you know what you should have done, you should have went to the range while you were over there and called them back and said, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it as shots are going off.
Well, you know what I was worried about? I was worried about going back to New Jersey, blowing them off completely, not telling, and then showing up and getting arrested at the airport or something. Who wants to explain that? So apparently I got somebody fired. But so what? I don't know who it was, but you're clearly one shade off of hitting a guy with an AR-15 with a skateboard. Getting off track there. But the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict comes through. It's not guilty on all counts. A lot of celebration. Oh God, I gotta get that tweet. A lot of angry celebrities. I love the memorial. Every time I see the memorials for, I don't even get mad for they're calling him JoJo Rosenbaum. They're giving him like cute pet names and stuff. This fucking 5-time child rapist, and they're making murals for him, and I don't even get mad. I just think it's fucking funny, and it's just like, I was thinking that they're so into their politics, and they're so into this woke religion. In a year, if Kyle Rittenhouse made some kind of woke statement or supported some kind of, I guarantee they'd adopt him. If enough time went by and people called that, they'd adopt him. Absolutely. I mean, I saw it with like George Bush during the Trump administration. He said a couple backhanded things about Trump. George was a great president all of a sudden. They'll look past like the pedophilia. They're like look. I said this in a tweet before. Maybe I'll elaborate. When somebody robs a store, and it's on tape, and he ends up getting shot or fucked up himself or something like that, we all laugh because the robber got it. If there was a scenario where there was a Klan rally and somebody like flipped a cigarette and it caused this crazy chain reaction and all their uniforms caught fire. We all fucking laugh, right or wrong. I don't think that's a right. Loss of human life, loss of human life. But look, I am in no position to lecture you people. I'm not Jesus Christ here. I don't have those standards, right? And I think when bad people, something bad happens to them, it's great, right? And most people like that. If a big bunch of skinheads march through a neighborhood where there's a lot of people of color and they whip their ass, like 99.9% of the people on the planet would be like, good for them. Right or wrong, right? So, like, except when it comes to politics. If you're on our team, anything can be excused. Anything can be, be able to put you in the light of a hero. And I am speaking about the most extreme voices. I haven't seen any politicians do this, but a lot of Hollywood actors, saying that these two guys are heroes to try to stop an active shooter, which is...
Has LeBron said anything yet? I don't think he said anything.
No, I'm waiting for bated breath. That's what Don Jr. said. But I have to be honest with you. The absolute best tweet was from somebody that I don't think we agree on. 3 fucking things. I did not retweet this. I am completely and totally insane for not maybe, but I don't want him to know that I'm retweeting his stuff, I guess.
Are you looking for the Ruffalo tweet?
No. The best tweet now was by the omni-liberal himself.
Oh, gotcha.
By Destiny. Hands down, really summed up things too. I can't believe I should have prepped. I didn't prep today, folks. As you get hands down. He deleted it. Motherfucker. I should have. Oh, that's why I did. I probably did retweet it. He probably deletes his tweets. He's got 10 million wackos. He's got his. And we're just give you an idea. Like, this is not somebody I would agree with on. Anything? Why is it?
Hold on, Tommy. I got you. I screenshotted it.
Super. Super. I'd rather read it word for word than misquote him. But it was, hands down the best tweet I saw, and it summed up the whole situation, I think, perfectly. Thank you. He's got to delete all this shit all the time because all the wackos, all the what the fuck is going on with my Jeff Huffman? Oh,
what?
That was me. All right.
I mean, that's like it happens every show.
Here's what he wrote. People are right to say if Rittenhouse was black, he wouldn't have had the same outcome. If he was black, I don't think he would have ever been charged. The videos and everything look way too much like an attempted lynching, and he would be treated publicly as such. Yeah. Imagine that. Kid, the same scenario. Kyle's black. He gets chased down by a white man that looks like a skinhead, Rosenbaum. He lunges towards his weapon and then proceeds to run away from an army of white people that appear to be trying to maim or kill him. I think the media would definitely call him a hero. I think most people, white or black, except the most extreme fucking racists, would be saying it was self-defense. And that's pretty much what I'm saying about the left. And the far left has seeped in well into the actual Democratic Party and the mainstream left much more than it is on the right. So yeah, can you imagine if Kyle was a black kid? You'd be like, good thing he got out of there. Close call. Because it does. It looks like a lynching. And they were using words like lynching him. So cranium that guy. I don't like to speak for white people, but I'll speak for myself. All right? I don't like to speak for a group of people. I don't like to speak even towards ethnic groups. Had this been a black kid, and the same thing had happened, as a better streamer than me once said, you have my blessing. Good. I'm glad you got out of there. And it just shows you The only reason that people had an issue, the only reason this guy was charged is because he was white. It's because of the politics of the situation at the time. It was because that's what they hate about white people that don't conform. They don't like do-gooders like him that want to be EMTs and in the military and like policemen and stuff. They hate them. They think they should die. You know, and you can watch fucking like Cenk and all those jackasses just sputter and spit, and Cenk, I'm really starting to wonder if Cenk has a fucking 3-digit IQ. I mean, it is really unbelievable. So that's why he got off. Somebody made a loud noise, and you can shoot anybody that has one, and you can just have this constant cycle. Is anybody that dumb? I mean, it's amazing that he made it to MSNBC to begin with 10 years ago. He really is just the left-wing Bill O'Reilly, but stupider. Just stuttering and spitting and carrying on. And I know it's part of it's his act. And I know I do some of the same things, but Jesus Christ, Alex Jones is an entertainer. I'm trying to entertain people at the end of the day. Maybe I'll sprinkle a little politics on him in a situation like this. But this guy's all day, all night. He wanted to go to Washington, for Christ's sakes. That kook. There's no self-awareness whatsoever. So yeah. A bunch of white people come down on you and try to take your rifle away. Shoot them. Shoot them dead. You have my blessing. So in that sense, yeah, I think people are saying that this is not a racial issue, and on the surface it isn't, but no, it kind of is. I don't think the only reason he got charged is because he was white, because of the situation at the time, post Minneapolis. And I think that's fair to say. I think it's fair to say they continue this state lines horse shit. Like I got a message for Europeans and maybe some Middle Easterners and maybe from we have some Asian fans out there. We're allowed to go in every fucking state we want, and these commies can't tell us to do so. It was a 20-minute drive, for Christ's sakes, and he worked there. And the idea that he was a vigilante. Vigilantes don't run. Active shooters don't run towards the police. They shoot people and pick them off and reload. We've seen it before. We've seen the tapes of Columbine and somebody. He didn't look like an active shooter. The only cowboy that was involved was Gage Grosskreutz, which he has appropriately, he's been named because he tried to nail himself on front of the cross and fell off, because we need the wood a lot more than we need that cross, Gage. Made an absolute jackass himself. Talk about a guy that was told he was smart by mom one too many times. So yeah, Destiny was one of the only people that had their heads screwed on straight, and just like, how can you not call it like you see it? Active shooter, vigilante, went out there with the idea that he was going to shoot people that night. Well, why did he turn around before he was cornered and he shot? Why did he look backwards? Why did he run away? He had a gun.
He ran into an awful spot. It's the spot he ran to. That's his fault.
Yeah. The area in which he was traced was used against him by the prosecutor. He chose to be cornered. What? Here's another thing I don't think anybody's talking about with pedophile Jones over there that nobody's going to miss. I'm going to give you this.
Jojo?
Yeah, Jojo. I'm going to flip off my disgust for his past crimes for a second, all right? Nobody's saying this in the media, and I pride myself by saying things that nobody's talking about. You haven't heard this very often, but you might know that Mr. Rosenbaum was released from a psychiatric ward that day. What you might not know is this. It was a very serious suicide attempt. And before you say good, think about this, all right? Apparently, it was enough to get locked up for. We know from, just years of me talking about, I've been telling you for years, it's almost impossible to get somebody locked up. for psychiatric help. It's like you almost have to sign your own paperwork. He goes to his ex-girlfriend's house and begs to stay there because he's got nowhere to go. And she said to him, I can't have you in. Apparently he'd beat her before. But please don't go downtown. And for whatever reason, he decided to join the riots downtown. Has anybody thought for a minute, considering his situation, his life, that this whole thing may have been sparked by some kind of weird suicide by cop? I mean, who runs after a guy with an AR-15? You almost have to be suicidal. So the whole thing was sparked by a mental patient. The whole thing. And the mind-numbed people who've been radicalized by outlets like the Young Turks, MSNBC, Joy Reid, idiots like Anna Kasparian. Yeah, she apologized. Yeah, I know. So what? Newswoman that doesn't watch the news. She literally said, hey, everybody, I'm a fucking moron. For a year and 3 months, I've been ranting on and on, calling this guy a murderer and a vigilante, and I didn't know the most basic fact that he was engaged first. The most basic fact in the entire case slipped my mind and allowed me to go on and make one false statement after another. See, I don't believe that. I think what you're seeing right now with the state line crossing, the vigilante, intent to kill, all that stuff that was completely taken apart in court, right? This is military, and I don't say this is not hyperbole, military-grade propaganda. And what I mean by that is when you're in battle, each side disseminates their own form of disinformation, whether it be to the enemy itself and or the surrounding population to get the result that they want. That's what we're in the middle of. Military-grade propaganda being volunteered by some of the oldest television networks in the United States. They simply, and they're, Kyle Rittenhouse is going to smoke them in court. Absolutely smoke them. It's unbelievable. They know they're lying. This isn't a mistake. How many times can it just be a mistake? How many times can Twitter be deleted by accident?
No, they're not incompetent in that regard.
No, it is military-grade propaganda. We have in our country right now, and it's a lot more threatening than the January 6th crowd. The people in this country that sound a lot like Nazis, and instead of the Jews do this and the Jews have Jew thoughts, it's the whites have white thoughts. And you hear it every day. White tears and white this and white, these are white thoughts, and that's white math and white feminism. This is not in the corner of Harvard or some other Ivy League school. This is mainstream left-wing extremist. You could burn down Portland and take a Democratic politician and ask him about Antifa, and he'll look you right in the face and tell you there's no such thing. This is military-grade propaganda. It's not that they didn't know. It's that they did. And I'm not looking at it as, oh, the media got another black eye. No. Have any of them apologized to that Sandman kid?
That's a lot of money, I guess.
No, they just paid out. I think it's the price of doing military-grade propaganda business, and that's what they're looking for. They're the enemy. They are truly Trump was never, if he wouldn't write about one motherfucking thing, that was the one thing he was right. They are the enemy to the American people and anybody in the Western world. There is no way around this. I can't think of a creative way where you could come up and tell me, and I dare you to call in right now and explain to me in a logical way that this was some kind of accident, the way it was explained to the American public. I don't care. You will make a fucking fool of yourself, and you know it. So they are the enemy. They have stated so. They talk like Nazis. They take a particular group. I mean, you've seen it in Schindler's List. That's a Jew thought and Jew carpentry and Jew this and Jew that. They do it all the time. It's daily on MSNBC. They even convinced some poor schmuck to tail down the goddamn jury, run red lights doing it, and threw him under the bus. Military-grade propaganda on our own people. The truth doesn't matter. It's power. And it's not, I really don't think I'm saying anything all that extreme. I could give you mainstream example after mainstream example. I'm not some left-wing nut in 1995, pulling out this one isolated incident. The Sandman incident was right in front of us. The Russia hoax happened right in front of us. One after another it almost feels like Trump's like every week was an L for fucking the left for 4 years straight until he lost the election. Ever since, August, it's like Trump's president again because it's just L's everywhere. And is it just a coincidence? Are they just that stupid? No
such thing.
They believe in a radical ideology or they're too entrenched and they're just going along with it. Concentration camp guard type thinking. There are two types of people in that group. The ones that are too afraid and trying to protect their position, and that's how communism really holds on, because everybody's afraid to lose their stupid bad job that's going nowhere, because it's better than nothing. And there's the tyrants, would-be tyrants, that are perpetuating this. Think I'm crazy? Well, say something wrong about fucking AOC. You might have cops at your door. It's already happened. To a guy who quote tweeted and said, this is disappointing, because she was making no sense and a fool of herself when she's talking about Palestine-Israeli relations.
So a day that ends in Y. Got it?
Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but I don't know if you like them, but it doesn't really matter. They raided fucking Project Veritas at O'Keefe's house because he stole a diary or something like that. The diary was given to him. He didn't even run the story because he couldn't find out if, it was not Hunter Biden's, but his daughter's diary, but Joe Biden's daughter's diary was legit or not. He didn't even run the story, and the FBI showed up. And nobody gives a fuck. Like I said, Kyle Rittenhouse, if he cements his celebrity, turns around and becomes woke in a year or two, they'll take him in. They'll look past the pedophilia. They'll look past anything. Fuck, if they get enough pedophiles together to say they can change the vote, you'll start seeing them talking about pedophiles like LGBTQ. There's nothing. And that's why you're seeing this military-grade propaganda. Because it's power. It doesn't matter how you get there. It's totally Machiavellian. And please call in and explain to me. Don't just sit there in the chat. I'll let you talk. Explain to me why this is an accident. Tell me why I'm wrong. And then my friend, and I'll tell you, how many more incidents have to happen? And they're going to happen again. There's going to be another Kyle Rittenhouse. There's going to be another Nick Salmon. It hasn't stopped since 2016. It's daily. It's 24/7. There's no end. And now January 6th has run out of steam. People are like, fuck that shit. I need to get back to work. And who would have imagined waking up on Saturday in Europe and finding out there are more riots over here than there was in the States? I haven't watched this yet, but I've heard this is being explained because now everybody's afraid to protest because they're going to get shot. Well, let me fix that. Change protests to rioters, and I don't care, and nobody cares if they're afraid to get shot.
Protesting? Okay.
Yeah.
Rioting? No.
Rioting.
If you come and try and destroy my shit,
Yeah.
I will do something about it.
I'm dying to hear this. This is on MSNBC. And they're trying to
legal perspective.
there's been a chilling effect on rioters. Yeah, on rioters.
Katie, did you find the verdict consistent with the law?
So the law in Wisconsin allowed for this self-defense claim to be completely obliterated if you followed the law on provocation. And so the jury, if it had followed the law on provocation, would have...
So what she's saying is the reason he should have been convicted is because Kyle provoked it. All you got to do to watch the video is to see that's not the case. And they did make an argument on provocation. And it was so thin. I'm going to kill you. And then I chase you and I corner you.
And somehow Kyle,
or you know, somehow Kyle provoked that. He did provoke it after he stopped the fire.
After he was provoked?
Yeah, after he stopped the fire. And then was first thing, like, how many people provoke run away? You want to sit there, say putting out a fire is, provoking something. Well, he shouldn't have been.
That motherfucker's provoking him. He's putting out a fucking fire. Lock him, motherfucker.
That's not. You can't. If somebody put out your fucking little riot fire, that's not. You haven't been provoked.
I call that being a good person.
Determined that Rittenhouse provoked what ended up happening, thereby negating
a jury heard that, by the way.
The opportunity to be able to claim self-defense. And Tiffany, I'm glad that you played that particular clip for our audience because of the following reasons. That was a Tucker Carlson embedded film.
You didn't answer the question.
She's not. No, she's avoiding it completely. She said if the law was followed. There's no nuance to the argument, and now we're switching to our enemies, Tucker Carlson.
Doing that footage. And I think it's really important because it ties into what you've been saying for a long time and what Ellie has been saying for a long time. There was more than $1 million in legal fees that was Christian crowdfunded for Kyle Rittenhouse in his defense.
That sounds like a crime. You're not even allowed to fund causes you believe in.
$1 million allowed the purchase of a high-priced jury consultant for that exceptionally well-rehearsed self-defense speech we heard when Kyle Rittenhouse took the stand. I think it's important for people to realize that it wasn't Kyle Rittenhouse.
He fooled you all. That well-rehearsed.
Got him.
You've been bamboozled. Young 17-year-old lad walking down the street.
Got to remember, he didn't have to take. I still think he was crazy for taking the stand. And I've been on record here that I'm not much for this Kyle Rittenhouse as a hero.
Absolutely not.
Definitely fucking brave. And I think when history goes down, as we look back, him taking the stand might have been heroic. I don't think shooting those people were heroic. I think he was a 17-year-old in his head. He just simply had to do what he had to do to survive. I don't know if Kyle would even agree with that. It really doesn't matter whether he does or not. This is just my opinion. But I think, bravery. Putting out those fires with all those wackos on the street. Hurry your community. Yeah, that's fucking brave. Going up there, knowing you don't have to, knowing that the prosecution has already blown the trial. That might have been heroic. And if that ends up that the fact that we can defend ourselves and not be railroaded in court and intimidated by these radical leftists that have been, have taken in the military grade propaganda, then yeah, I guess so. Because Kyle really wasn't on trial. The left tried to play a zero-sum game with this. But they knew if they lost, that means, if you start, like, they keep on using the word protesters in lieu of a rioter. Yeah, rioters don't have a right to. You have a right to protest. You don't have a right to riot. You don't have a right to burn shit down. You don't have
protest all you want. Protest all you want.
Have the right to engage and tackle a guy who does have the right to carry a firearm. Because as soon as you engage with him, as soon as you start to win, as soon as you start to, there's a chance that gun gets used in the enemy's hand. And we're talking about, we don't know what Rosenbaum would have done. And he thought the whole world was against him. He could have started plugging anybody in front of him. Again, I do wonder if Kyle or Rosenbaum's actions were the actions of a kind of bizarre suicide by cop. He certainly had the motive. He certainly had motivation. That's the wrong word. I mean, He'd already tried to kill himself, and he didn't have a hell of a lot to live for. His own fault, by the way. Jeremy said in Wisconsin, to win a jury, you have to take the stand. Maybe that was it. Even be a man. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, I don't think he should have even been there. I think he was a kid. But you know, he got charged with an adult crime. Maybe it's time to man the fuck up, take the stand.
I don't know. If I was 17 and I planned on going to that, my dad would have been like, "Are you fucking stupid?"
No, my father would have tried to stop me at least. You know, but I was nuts when I was 17 too. I think Kyle is one of these do-gooder cats. A lot of these guys I met in like basic training and shit.
He looks like a fucking Boy Scout.
Yeah, I think that's all he was trying to do. And Boy Scouts like guns and all that other fucking shit. Doesn't mean they're inherently violent. Doesn't mean he's even a Trump supporter. And it's certainly, there's absolutely no evidence that he went over there to shoot people.
Yeah, doing shit, cleaning shit up, putting out a fire.
Like, why? Like, if you're there to shoot people, why are you doing all that shit? Why wouldn't you be?
Why wouldn't he just show up?
Why would he yell? Like, if he wanted to provoke something, why wouldn't he just yell at these fucking people and say he was threatened? So yeah. So if you don't have a right to defend yourself, you don't really have a right to defend yourself over here. You really don't have any human rights, because that's the most basic one. If you're not allowed, if a criminal's allowed to take your right to breathe away from you, like, you really don't have too many rights after that. Can you imagine that, being beaten, killed, and you don't have a right to, I don't know, fucking kill the guy that's trying to kill you? Can you imagine living in a world like that?
I mean, that's how it is in school. You can't fight back.
You know, what's his
Go get a teacher. Okay, yeah, just I'll go get a teacher while the fucking big ass bully is hitting me over the head with a chair. That's great.
Yeah.
Street with an AR-15 who was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean,
Nobody said he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. They said he was attacked. They have to come up with all these fucking crazy narratives.
there is an entire army of people that have been supporting this type of conduct. And then today we sit here and we're tired because the result from yesterday, I think there's a real reason why you didn't see a lot of protests yesterday, Tiffany. It's because if you went into the street after that verdict, you could be shot dead in the street and there would be no consequence.
You know, I think she's half right. I think that's going to scare rioters. Good. That's fantastic.
Yes.
But I also think, you know, this station in particular, some people, wait, that kid was chased? I mean, the old prosecutor said, I'm going to show you that he chased Rosenbaum. He said that in his opening statements. He said that. He said that. He saw the shit. Hell, they kept the fucking tape away from the prosecutor. He knew that wasn't true. So I think one of the reasons, you know, it's pretty easy to get people mad about leaning on a black man's neck, crying out for his mother as he slowly leaves this world. I think anybody can get upset about that.
Absolutely. Fuck that cop. Fuck him.
But radicalized Antifa types carrying on and trying to burn shit and trying to intimidate anybody trying to stop these burnings, well, you can have a lot more sympathy for somebody like that. So you're only going to get whereas what happened in Minnesota really brings a lot more people to the table and it crosses political boundaries. This doesn't. So all you have is the radical propagandists participating in it rather than the people that they're trying to target. I ain't getting killed for that guy. I wouldn't fucking tackle no guy with a gun. That guy was a pedo. Man, 5 kids? The skateboard guy fucking used to beat his girlfriend? Man, I'm against that stuff to begin with. You mean the medic actually drew and pulled his gun on Kyle Rittenhouse after he gave all the signals that he was trying to just de-escalate the situation? How do you get motivated to go protest after that? That's your bigger. It's not that they're afraid they're going to be shot. Certain things had to happen in order for this to be legal self-defense. If you notice down in Georgia, that's not the case. Those guys are going to jail because to make a citizen's arrest, apparently, I'm going by what Nate the lawyer said, and I don't know exactly what it is because I read it. You have to meet 2 qualifications. Apparently, those men didn't. So they're not going to be able to use self-defense, which is a guarantee, almost a directed verdict. So this isn't about race. This isn't a race. This is just about a growing authoritarian left wing that is becoming more and more mainstream by the minute.
They're bullies.
They're bullies. They're intimidators. They're using gangster tactics with the intimidation. You are on board or canceled. We've seen them do it online to YouTubers and other people. You know, we've seen them use those tactics to get free Xboxes and PlayStation 5s. That's for my audience. If you're new here, that's who I cater to. We've seen it. We've seen these tactics. And now they're trying to win absolutely everything. And this was huge because they really would have taken the right to self-defense away. Nobody has a right. You're entitled to self-defense in their world if you're one of them. And it's beyond clear. And it doesn't even matter if you think, like, well, I'm liberal on most issues. You got to be, you're in or you're out.
You got to be a psychopath.
You're 100%. 100%. You either got to be a psychopath or just willing to go on the, what do they call those shooters? Those like willing to stand by on the rail shooter. That's who you got to be. That's the only thing that they will tolerate. Any liberal that I have seen that have stood up for free speech or questioned some of the things that thought their own side has gone a little too far have been maligned, have been called conservative, have done everything. Destiny being one of them. Big company like Amazon went after him for basically saying, look at the tape. It's a lynching. This is a lynching. What if the kid was black? Yeah, what if the kid was black? Shoot those motherfuckers. Fuck them.
Absolutely.
You're not allowed to take that boy's life. You're not allowed to take a black boy's life. You're not allowed to take a white boy's life, a Hispanic boy, a Chinese. You're not allowed to take anybody's life because you're pissed off. You're not allowed to burn shit because you're pissed off. And if you get shot, fuck you. And that's a good thing. That's going to keep those people from burning down our houses. It's a good thing, Katie Fang.
Again, they're bullies. Push back.
I think that's what Kyle is getting probably undue credit about being a hero, because he seems to be somebody who pushed back. I don't think he even pushed back. He initially ran away. He was pushed to the absolute. He was pushed to the point where he didn't have a choice.
It was last resort. Last resort.
Kyle showed incredible trigger from my military's perspective. He's showed incredible, not only proficiency with the weapon.
Finger was not on the trigger.
Finger was not on the trigger. Like, incredible. I mean,
that's gun safety 101 for those who don't know.
I mean, just to be on your ass after you've been kicked and hit with a skateboard, and keep your eyes on Grosskreutz as he's putting up his hands like in peace, and as he pulls out the weapon, probably there to execute him. Engage Grosskreutz. You think you don't think? Here's another thing. He's a felon. He had a illegal weapon, a handgun. He's yet to be fucking charged because he's one of them. There's somebody over there in the police department that's a fucking activist. They're there. The Nazis are fucking in our government. And they will do what they can do. And this will, because they know it attracts people, to protect them. Nobody's arguing over this case. They're saying crazy shit. Well, I guess if you're white, you can kill somebody. I mean, that's just completely ignoring what happened. And they're doing it deliberately. You know, and Bionic Pig tweet. I mean, Bionic Pig's fucking a double-digit IQ. I mean, it's beyond clear. He's really dumb. I think at some level he knows it, but the target audience takes that stuff in. So that's, you know, well, this goes in the hole.
Get the Twitter likes.
Yeah, that's all he knows. Well, yeah, I think that all those guys are like that. I think it actually, too bad Dead on Dave's interviews aren't still there, because it kind of showed that. Actually, more so with Wild Spartans, but those two as well. You imagine your morality being ruled by social media. You have no opinion. I mean, it goes to say, Klein used to say this too. It's most of those guys back then, not so much anymore, would just go to his Twitter feed and just, he would say something interesting and they make a video on it. They don't have any opinions. Another story for another time. We're a story that we've delved into often. But, you know, there you go. Anybody in there want to take me on? Because I'd love to argue with somebody right now. I don't think there's anybody there.
That's a lot of money, I guess, for
I haven't looked at chat once. Is somebody running their fucking mouth? Does somebody have a good example? Does somebody have an argument?
I haven't seen anyone.
An argument? Anything? I mean, I'm not going to say who this is. I'm going to read this because this is a family friend. I love them dearly. And I'm gonna read what they wrote you on my Facebook. And I think this is part, and she's decided to take in the propaganda. She's been a victim of the military grade propaganda. What do you got here? White boy tears are very valuable, LOL. You really could sum the whole trial up to that thing. It really doesn't matter one way or another. And I wrote back kind of wise-assily, not as valuable as a right be able to stand up to radical criminal leftist mobs. They're trying to kill and beat you. Or maybe you should just stay home and not get an illegal gun. Or go over state lines. Like that's ever been illegal. I think that, no, see, I'm starting to think that state lines thing is going a lot further than guns. Especially in lieu of COVID. The state lines, if your mommy's
Illinois is like 5 minutes away from me.
Lying about being a medic, going over state lines, illegal gun, that's not true. And I'm supposed to think that that first of all has nothing to do with the trial, not one thing she named. And the one fact she had was absolutely wrong about the illegal gun. That charge was dropped. Like go to jail for murder? That's what you want? Oh, God. And I wrote, you're hopelessly misinformed. Number one, gun never crossed straight lines. Prosecution dropped the judge cards because he was legally carrying it. And he never got, and they knew they were never going to get a conviction. Number three, you can legally carry, not own, or he can legally carry, not own, and he didn't. His buddy Dominic's in some trouble. And a firearm if you are 16 and above. Wisconsin had, as long as it meets the length requirement, it did. To sum it all up with white tears is ignorant and simplistic. It's like you're almost willfully trying not to know. Willfully ignorant. You clearly don't know the facts about the case or how the law applies. I really think you should look into it by suggesting everyone's racist. Because the white tears thing just basically says, if a white boy cries, like a white girl did in the old days, and said, I think he raped me. He looked at me funny, honey. And they'd string him up. Well, that's what we're doing now. Because he looks like a Trump supporter. And the statement is so generalized. White tears, it doesn't mean anything. I'm not even offended by the big, it's racist, and I can go on, and like I see all these fucking right-wing guys, and they're like, see, that's racist too. See, you're a hypocrite. They're fucking racist. Just call them racist. They don't think it's apocryphal. They don't care. They're Machiavellians. You got to do what you got to do for the good of the people. That's the way they see it. Read a Machiavelli. It's okay to lie as long as the lie is for good. So what happens is horrible people hear that, and horrible people hear that, and I can lie about anything, and whether it's good or not. The statement is so generalized, not worth debating. It's not. Stop trying to show that they're hypocrites. It's a complete and utter waste of time. Do what they do to you. Tell them they're evil, because they are.
Push back. Push back.
They are. You're the Nazi. Well, that's why you dress up in Italian fascist black and light things on fire, as the brown shirts did, as the Italian fascists did. It's you. You're the Nazi. You're out of control. Your side riots more. We have one in 45 fucking years. You literally, the last year alone, was incredible left-wing violence that let more people of color dead than anybody else. What a shock. So, yeah. There you go. I'll take a few calls and call it a day.
Let's do it.
I want to hang out with my wife. Aeronock, you're on the air. Go.
Hey guys. Meet the stream first. I want to say the Kyle verdict really gives me hope for the country. Been kind of black-pilled as of late because of all it's been going on, inflation, gas prices, all that other garbage, and then of course the left being their usual annoying ass selves. And
Yeah, last time it was a hockey game that brought everybody back together. It is kind of dark that this might be the big moment that brings back, because this happened in 1980. There was like a moment. It happened to be a fucking hockey game. Better there.
Do you believe in miracles?
Yes. So yeah, a lot of people, even though it was so dark. I mean, it's such a clear.
Watch the movie Miracle.
Yeah. Watch the documentary. It's better.
I'm
watching both
before my time, I think.
Yeah, and yeah, maybe this is the moment, because this is so clear things, and I was nervous that he wasn't going to get off.
Oh, me too. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I was nervous. Not so much for him. I don't know him. I think he was awful stupid to go in there, but are they really eroding at probably the most important thing that you need to be a free person, the freedom to breathe, and that I found more scary than. I don't know Kyle Rittenhouse from a fucking hole in the ground. I don't care about him like I would like if it was somebody I knew. I'm not going to sit here and fucking bullshit anybody. Glad he got off, but I was thinking more about the country. I was thinking more about the precedent. And apparently, well, this is what happened when you play zero-sum games, left-wing wackos. Yeah, there is some truth to what they're saying. There might be some guy that maybe even illegally tries to claim self-defense after he picks off a bunch of people. I got to be honest with you. I blame the media for that. Even you're sitting there. I mean, ultimately, the guy that did it is the one that should pay the most. But you're the one. You're on there telling people that it's okay to shoot fucking protesters now because of this verdict, and that is just not the case. If you have
what really annoys me is the erosion of language that they've been pushing and pushing and pushing. Since Kyle got off, they're always saying, "Oh, he's a murderer. He's a murderer." If you kill something, it doesn't make you a murderer.
No, it's justified. They were two justifiable homicides. There's a name for it. I don't know if they call it that in Wisconsin. Yeah,
and they keep going back and saying, "Oh, he shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have been there."
Nobody should have been there that night. It wasn't being enforced.
The riders should have been there.
Yeah, nobody should.
And they call them protesters, and they're not protesters. They're riders. Nobody protests at 10 o'clock at night.
The best part I found out? The area that they burned down was mostly minority, like cell phone stores and shit.
It usually is. They usually go to minority areas.
I remember that. I remember when the riot happened in L.A. when I was a kid. I was at a baseball game. And I'm like, well, Beverly Hills is fucked. They didn't go there. They were the old bad neighborhoods.
I'm a Cleveland guy myself, and in Cleveland, Ohio, and
Cleveland rocks.
Yeah,
no, it doesn't. It's terrible shithole.
The Cleveland, they're the Cleveland Guardians now, not the Cleveland Indians.
Oh God, it makes me want to puke. You kidding me?
Become a Yankee fan. It's much better.
Nah. But there are areas in Cleveland that it's like these really nice houses, these really big like mansions, like there's some really good places, but they're surrounded by the ghettos, right? Yeah. When things like this happen, they don't go into these big gated communities. They go into the ghettos and they fuck up shit in there. Terrible. Like none of this happens in these areas. These areas, my uncle worked in some of these areas before. He was a police officer.
Yeah, I can't remember a riot in a nice neighborhood. Yeah, my whole life, right. In fact, ridiculous. The only time there's ever been a nice place is January 6th.
I wouldn't call DC a nice place.
Well, I've been. Capitol Building's beautiful, man. It's great.
I mean, Capitol Building's great.
Capitol Building's great. That whole area is fucking beautiful, man.
It's full of crooks, honestly.
Yeah, it's full of crooks, but it's it's like
it looks nice.
It's a shit burger. Yeah. It looks like a nice big healthy Big Mac until you bite into it, But I wasn't there.
Gold covered shit, huh?
It's a beauty. But DC's great. I used to go out in DC just to party. It was a good time. It's only like a 6-hour drive for me. It is good times down in DC. You know that?
Yeah.
All right, man.
I've been there a few times.
I'll talk to you later. Take care.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
I don't know if I want to have the same. I'll put Agmar on because he hasn't called in a while. Agmar, you're on the air.
Hey,
I was gonna go through memes, but I don't think I want to. I think I just want to take a shot.
So I kind of just wanted to mention two things in the case that I really think are kind of weird. I think people really idolizing like Kyle is kind of weird because this is one of those
weird.
like
it's a little weird.
It's really weird because it's like it's one of these things. It's like it's really unfortunate with like everybody involved.
I blame both the right for propping him up for the wrong reasons and the left for making him out to be a school shooter. So you have those two things, and you have those two things come together, and you're kind of a hero. But I will say this though, something tells me years from now, I'm going to look at Kyle in a much different manner. I'm going to look at him in a heroic manner. I'm not there yet. I want to see how he carries himself. Hopefully not like that scumbag Zimmerman, who I also think was innocent, but was obviously a person he's just a deplorable person, to say the least. But something tells me that's not Kyle. I think he's just a do-gooder. And when these things happen, when government turns their back on a community like they did in Kenosha, you got gross coincidences and Rittenhouse has filled the gap. And this time Rittenhouse won.
And it's just really weird because it's like nobody's really in a hero in this situation. You just have somebody that like shouldn't have been in the front. I blame his mom more than I do him. Like,
but I thought about that too. I blame his mom if he was 12. He's 17-year-old boy. He's physically a man. What if he said? I said, "Fuck you, mom. Fuck you, dad. I'm doing it." I did that before.
Yeah. Okay.
I went to the 1994 Rangers Stanley Cup parade. My dad told me not to go.
I've done stupid shit when I was like a 17.
Yeah, nobody's gonna stop me. I was, what I was doing. I was thinking, all right, I'll go and I'll get punished for a month and I'll gamble. I'll gamble. Yeah. So, he could have looked at it that way. Who the fuck knows? I still don't think it was a good idea, but I'm not going to blame. He's 17. He was days away from being 18, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was.
He's days away. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Fair enough. I think that law that they have, they really need to rewrite that law because that's like very ambiguous.
What wall?
And
sorry, what are you talking about?
The whole because I was watching the trial, and that's why they didn't proceed more with the underage weapons charge because the way the law is written is really fucking.
Yeah, I think you can make a decent argument in that. The left was smart. They wouldn't be fucking memorializing JoJo Rosenbaum. They would probably, the smarter thing to do is you don't phrase it this way. You have to take people's rights of self-defense away. That we have to make stricter gun laws so the scenario doesn't happen again. Yeah, that would be the smart thing to do. But that's tough to grandstand on, and that takes.
Oh yeah, definitely. But that law, the way the law is written is very weird. They at least need to update it. But yeah,
well, here's the thing. I can let's say you're my kid. I can hand you the rifle, right? But you can't go around. You can't go around using it for self-defense. You got to use it for a range or hunting. This guy Dominic lent it, so he would have been the adult in the situation, lent the rifle to the kid for self-defense. That doesn't qualify. So because Kyle was a minor, he wasn't breaking a law because he just accepted the weapon. The responsibility as the owner of the gun, and the owner of the gun was Dominic. So he's going to be in a little bit of trouble and that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, I feel like him, as the adult, he definitely should get like a charge for that.
He has been charged.
Oh, he already has. Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's anything more than a slap in the wrist.
It shouldn't be anything more than a slap in the wrist, but it should definitely be a fine. But
no, I don't think kids shouldn't be allowed to carry weapons like that in that particular environment. So, we don't really need a law because the law's already there. Now that we're talking about it, so he's going to get punished. You might want to talk about, increasing the punishment. I think that would be a smart thing to do, or something like that. But no, the lefties, they're not going to do that. They're just going to try to seize power through force, and they're going to continue to fucking lie and besmirch this kid. And Tucker Carlson or gun culture. Like nothing to fucking do with it. It had everything to do with. If you didn't watch Tucker Carlson or Gun Culture, he would have just laid there and got fucking beaten to death like a good boy, or killed. Like what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, you
hit me with the skateboard, GG's, I guess.
It's not even that. The reason they go after the reason they go after gun culture is because they want your guns. It's just that simple. They want your gun, all of them, everyone. They don't want. They're lying to you when they talk about sensible gun control. Places that have loose gun control usually have less crime. They just want your guns. They just want your guns. And to be honest with you, after the riots all through 2020, they really made the absolute best case why we can never ever soften the Second Amendment. Because they're not, when it comes down to it, and they don't have a good political motive to protect your business, they won't. Only if they do. They're going to let it. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, brown. It doesn't fucking matter. They're going to let your fucking business burn. Everything you worked for, everything you tried for. And you're going to have to fight with the insurance company. And you know what? Ever hear of a total loss when they come to your car? You don't always get the fucking money. And everybody knows that.
Yeah, that's the even more unfortunate part about this, man. Is these small businesses that were like destroyed by these riots, like it's not a situation where like every insurance claim is like a fucking Wendy's. Okay?
Yeah, I know. It's like you dropped your burger. Here's another one. It doesn't work that way. Only children think it works that way. And I like how that's used as an excuse to be able to light somebody place. I have a fucking easier thing. Attempted arson can be engaged with, and just make it clear, deadly force by civilians.
Oh yeah, I definitely think
that ends it right fucking there and then. You're lighting a fire. You pick up a Molotov cocktail, you'll be shot. You never see it.
Yeah, I definitely think there needs to be something in place.
Fantastic deterrent. Somebody picks up a Molotov cocktail and fucking leans back, tries to throw a grenade, bullets. No one will ever do it again.
Yeah, because it's like I'm gonna give like an example real quick. Like there was like a really bad set of tornadoes that hit my state.
Jesus
Ohio.
Christ! Talk about tornado. Agbar, get the fuck out of here. Bye.
Jesus Christ, Agbar. Oh, God.
Jesus Christ!
Thank you for actually having something.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Jesus Christ! We're on a fucking regular phone call here as a show. Joe Biden's left testicle. You're on the air.
Yo, Tommy.
What's up?
So, like 4 days after Rittenhouse got into that shooting, there was another shooting. I think it was, I don't know, it might have been Portland, by a man named Michael Roynhall. He was like a lefty that shot a Trump supporter. And Vice News actually gave him an interview in regards to like the shooting.
That.
Yeah.
Instead of self-defense. This guy's waiting for a bus. Yeah, what about it?
I mean, yeah, it's just like automatically people labeled Rittenhouse as like a white supremacist, but media corporations.
You didn't hear the outrage towards the Trump supporter killing. You didn't say that. I mean, I don't think any lefty went out and supported the person that shot those guys, but you didn't see the outrage because there's no political advantage.
Yeah, I think
somebody Vito had one that was really funny, right? Oh God, I read this just before I went on the air. I don't know who this person is, and I'm gonna trust Vito on this. I think Vito's getting fucking red pilled lately. What was Kyle hanging out with like a really super hot chick here? Who the fuck is? That's the other thing. Probably the most important thing we haven't talked about is the amount of pussy that's coming his way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is, but I think he can bang. If he rolled up in a Washington, hang out in the Republican girls' dorm, he could stay.
Fuck yeah.
But Vito had one that was absolutely amazing. How did he take it down? Or maybe he had it wrong. Non-existent video games. Nah, I took it down. Maybe he had the information wrong and he had to take it down. But let's just go on the premise that it was true. I'm not saying it's true, but apparently somebody is an example. There was a girl in Kenosha, and maybe this isn't true. I'm just saying. Let's see. All right, let's say there was a girl in fucking Alabama. Let's fuck Kenosha because I don't know if this is true or not. And she just got murder one for killing the guy. That's not on here. Too bad.
Oh, human trafficking victim?
No, she was getting raped by this dude, and she went and fucking killed him. And then Vito came back. And came back and he said, no.
Might be a reply.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing. It could have been a reply. I see. I could. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it could have been a reply. I got to check this because it was actually pretty good. Oh, we got to watch this next. This is fantastic. I'll get back there. You know what? I think I'll skip that because I don't know if it's true. And maybe the reason Vito took it down because he realized it wasn't true. And good on him. So I'd actually, if that's the case, I'd actually been interested. Some girl got murder one for killing the guy that was raping her or something. All right, this is switching gears. This might be another, like, I don't think this is, like, this was the turnout for a Colorado rally. And what a big shock. One of the other Antifa douchebags started calling the speaker a rapist. And you know, that's another thing, boys and girls. You want to be cool, you want to be Antifa. These people will fucking cancel you within their group as soon as they can. You know, like, they'll go right after you. They're probably eating each other alive, because it's evil. It's an evil fucking group to hang out with, like the Ku Klux Klan or anyone else. And yeah, this is fucking hysterical.
This is an example of the poison of whiteness. This needs to be heard. This needs to be seen.
Everyone is white, by the way.
This needs to believe anything.
All right, here's what's going on. This guy's doing a speech thing, trying to get the rally for Kyle Rittenhouse thing, and this dude called him a rapist. And the funny thing is, the guy looks white to me. He's like, this whiteness.
Shut the fuck up.
And this is the way. And the event got canceled. There's Colin Kaepernick trying to hold shit down. And apparently this whole thing got canceled.
Yeah, maybe if you show more urgency like that on the field,
that you're going to be dealing with.
Like Lord of the Flies.
You let a rapist speak? Yeah, this is like nothing. What was that one fucking one? Point of privilege?
Point of privilege, yeah.
Yeah, let's show you what these guys are like.
Personal point of privilege.
Personal point of privilege. This is like real.
If we want to defeat capitalism, we are going to need a party that will organize working people to fight for the demands that we want and to win socialism. Thank you so much.
Quick point of privilege. Quick point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, can we please keep the
cult? It's cult. It's a cult. This is cult behavior. This is not, intellectuals getting together. This is cult behavior.
Chatter to a minimum. I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus.
And what he's doing, this is a virtue signal. This is a virtue signal. He's real fuckhead. Thanks so much. This is virtue signal. This is like, you have a group of people that want to tell other people what to fucking do. And since most of the rest of their life, when they tell people what to do, you should do this. Fuck you, Karen! Ah! This is their chance to do it to each other. It's fucking funny. Watch.
Please, can we just, I know it's
and Antifa is probably just a more violent version of this.
Ready to go, but can we please just keep the chatter to a minimum? It's affecting my ability to focus. Thank you.
Thank you, comrade. Okay, is there a speaker against me?
If you notice, they're raising their hands up and going like this. That's not just a cute way. It's jazz hands. It's less offensive. I shit you not, man.
Makes no noise.
Yeah.
Chapter pronouns.
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Join Antifa today.
Okay.
At least these guys won't kick your ass.
Hi, everyone. My name's Sam Lewis. He, him. I'm from the New York City DSA chapter. This very simple amendment is to strike the language about forming an independent party.
Is this an impromptu love phones? Because this is exactly how not to get laid.
Of the proposal, since I think we're all
the men look very
in agreement that we do want to build a mass organization,
Can we
political
call them
organization
men?
of the working class.
I don't know. A lot of times in these groups, I notice because gay guys tend to take care of themselves. The gay guys look more macho than the fucking straight guys. Straight guys are all pathetic douchebags losing their hair at fucking 22. You know?
Yeah, like the normal gay.
The gay guys are
like,
the gay guys are all chatted out. They're all fucking ripped and shit. They look like you.
Just happens to be gay. It's someone can take care of themselves.
Yeah, I've met macho gay guys. They are out there.
Not an attempt to get rid of that shared goal. The problem with the language, as I see it, is that it counterposes forming an independent working class party.
And this is actually the best thing we go in about Marxism not taking a footnote, because you can't get anything done with this environment.
Yeah, so you're going to tell me, like, this is how communism will work? Because I gotta say, like, if I was a communist...
Well, here's the thing. Most of the time, the only place where I think communism ever took over through a ballot box was in one place. It's a little country next to Italy called San Marino. And it's also the only country that removed their Communist Party through elections, and they actually stepped down. It's the only place in history. The only time they get power is through violent act. So, and think about that. That's the only way this can't produce anything. It's real-time bureaucracy. It's real-time red tape. Like the Antifa themselves, like violent left-wing activists, would be much more effective than this shit, and they know it. So they want to get in government so they can do this shit so nothing gets done. No wonder people starve to death in their countries. No wonder they have, chain, what do they call it? Chain problems, or whatever the fuck they're called.
With the tactical use of the Democratic line. So it's basically saying in the future...
Tactical privilege incoming.
Our tactical use of the Democratic line.
Okay.
I think many of us have an agnostic position on that question, right? We want to behave in the most strategic way as class politics in this country develops. We don't want to commit to what has historically been a failed strategy in the United States of forming a third-party ballot line. So... I consider this a friendly debate. I will be voting for the proposal.
I gotta be honest, Bosch isn't this bad.
Whether or not this passes, but I think it's important to discuss.
I gotta say, I wouldn't feel confident in you heating up my ramen noodles.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Fuck.
Oh, these kids will be. If they don't get into left-wing politics, their life is gonna be rough. I spent all that money. Everybody said I was smart. Dig that hole, motherfucker. Dig it. All right, get out of here, Biden. Last call. Shadow Crescent, your last call for today. I'm sorry, guys. I'm done.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, I've heard you were going through, like, the young people, and I'm just going to tell you, like, I'm a college student, so it's nothing new I've seen, but it's, like, the whole Rittenhouse stuff. Like, obviously, like, I'm just going to, like, be open. Like, I'm Black. I live in a left-leaning kind of family, but do like 100% like agree that it was the self-defense. For a little I've seen is the fact that like I kind of like it, but sometimes it's really hard to talk about, at least around my area, because while I do live with
because you live around intolerant people. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's like,
and I've lived around intolerant people the other way, so I know where you're going through.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in around a conservative household. I'm not exactly the most conservative person on the planet, as far as the way I carry myself. So I know where you're coming from. And your point is?
Yeah, I mean,
thank you, Snowflake. I got to shout this out. Sorry, $50. Thanks as always, keeping it real for us. You're the shit. Thanks. So okay, go ahead, Shadow Crescent. You got plenty of time here.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, Rittenhouse, like, he did what he had to do. Because I feel like with people who are very ignorant, I'm not talking like I understand what you're saying regarding the people who are actively like manipulating people, right? But it's like, the actual like ignorant people, like they don't, and who just regurgitate what they say. I feel like they don't put themselves in his shoes. Like, what would happen? Like, if
I don't think they even read the news. I'll tell you what, that person that wrote me. I don't know if I read the thing, the exchange I had with the family friend. Fucking master's degree. Yeah. So I know she's not stupid, and she's probably smarter than me, and she's probably got a higher IQ than me. But here's the thing: it doesn't matter how smart you are, if you limit yourself and you're not truly open-minded, and you don't, and you're not a critical thinker, and then you've taken a side and you become a partisan, you can't learn shit. It's like your own learning disability. That's what happens. If you it happens when you get tunnel vision. It doesn't matter. Like, if you've decided this is the way the fucking world works and nothing can come in between that, it doesn't matter. You could be fucking Einstein. It's not going to matter. Nothing's ever going to get through. This is the way things work, and there is no fucking wiggle room. Look, most people are like that makes the world easy to comprehend. But I think we're dealing with people that have no ability. And I've been told that that ability is inherently racist, sexist, or wrong. Just flat out wrong. That's what I think's happened. You can't get in between. I don't know. Like, you're the first black guy to call me up. I don't know. Like, I had a black kid call me up and said his father beat him a couple months back, or a year ago, because he said he liked Trump, you know? And I'm not dumping on black people here. You know, it's just, that's that family. I mean, I grew up in a Catholic family. My grandfather told me about making wise-ass comments at church and the Christian brothers whipping his monkey ass. You know? So, I mean, all that stuff happens. But, yeah, I think you get to the point, you know, you saw it over here 70 years ago where you just can't, you know what has to be done. There's nothing. And then you can just look at your fellow man and can you imagine, as a black man, if we had a conversation, we're talking about baseball, all right? Baseball. And then you were talking about using a certain pitcher in a certain way. And I said to you, well, that's a black idea. Like, how obnoxious and insulting and bigoted is that? Well, black people would want to make that change. I'd rather put Rigetti in over Guidry in that situation. Like, I'm talking about fucking 70s baseball players. These kids want. You know, like that's a white idea. I mean, people are talking like that in the open. And by the way, I'm not saying sitting there crying for white people. I'm just saying that shit's wrong, no matter who it's being done to or what ethnic group it's being done to. It's frightening. I see white people do it. I see black people do it. I see all sorts of people doing that. That is really the root of this fucking problem. Because if you start saying things like Jewish idea, white idea, black idea, you have power, political power, we got a problem. Houston, we got a motherfucking problem. So that's really the thing that I think that should probably be engaged the most. Like, this Rittenhouse thing has nothing to do with race or anything else. I have to, like, I don't know. I mean, I judge, you know, most of my interactions with black folks were in the Army. Most of them are pro-gun. I'm willing to believe, I actually think if a black person is either not very political or apolitical, I would say I wouldn't be surprised. If you poll black people on Colorado, I bet it'd be in the 90th percentile. Maybe like 99, 95. I don't think this is a race issue. Well, if you're a left-wing wacko, whether you're white or black, you don't want people to have the right sense of self-defense. So it's got nothing to do with fucking race. It has everything to do with ideology. The ideology is the problem. Woke ideology is the problem. That's it. It's infected us like Nazism.
I mean, like, I've seen this for like a very long time. Like I'm only like 21 years old, but I tend to like think really far ahead a lot. And like over time, it became really hard just to like, you know, talk to people. Because on my college campus, I think like we have like these people, like, you know, like they talk about like guns and right, left ideologies, and they also have like the Youth Democratic Socialist Club that always advertises their stuff, but like but it's like whenever like ideas like clash like that, it becomes like harder just to talk to people.
Well,
like,
I think the idea is the brown shirts, when they used to go to universities, would just kind of yell over any kind of Jewish speaker or professor or anything. They just go, like literally do that. You know, when you do that, when you hold your hands like a kid, I can't hear it. They would do things like that just to disrupt, anything disrupt. And, you know, and it was all justified because they're doing it for the best reasons. The Jewish ideas have hurt the great state of Germany. We have to restore it to what it once was. They're not patriots. You know, they're Jewish, and they you know, and then you get to the real stage, they're not human. You know, and I honestly think if a black person would have been in that same situation, they would have said he was a hero. You know, and I think the question comes down with his heroic. If it's heroic, is it heroic to protect your own life with deadly force? I don't know. You know, it's definitely brave though. Especially
honestly, like nowadays, like they call like anything a black person to a hero. I mean, like fucking Nancy Pelosi legit said George Floyd was here for dying for like the other like
for dying.
like what the fuck?
Well, I bet he didn't want to do that.
Yeah, it's like he's not a martyr. It's like, no, he was just a victim of police brutality. Because we've all seen the video.
But you got to see, you're picking up on something. She doesn't see that person as being human, just to be able to.
Of course,
George Floyd furthers her political power. She doesn't care about George
and it's
Floyd.
like, it's
Do you think
terrible.
she spends time around fucking drug-infested neighborhoods and gives a fuck or knows anything about what those people face? No. No. It's just like I guarantee, like so they don't say it out loud, but boy, this is there's like between George Floyd and COVID, this is our best shot against Trump. That's how they think. That's how a lot of people think. I noticed this on YouTube. Boy, this could really work out for me, and I could really push my channel and get more stuff. People are like that, man.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen it. Let's take it on the YouTube scale. Some of the biggest fucking grandstanders and people that shove their morality down your throat has been some of the worst people that we've come in contact through the whole Shot from the Point story. You bet your ass it happens up in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
You bet your ass. Pelosi Skeletor.
I mean, it's like I don't understand. Like I know how we got from A to B because like the left wants to sit there and they want to roll up but like I've explained this to my roommate because my roommate was also in the army, in the air. He was in the Navy for like 4 years before he came through, and he was like, what he was paying attention to, like all like the softening of the army regarding like, oh, we got to be inclusive in the U.S. Army. I'm like, no, like it's like
I got in fairness, as a former veteran, every generation before was harder than you had it. So I don't know what's going on there now, but that's kind of a meme. Oh, I had it tougher you. No, I had it tougher you. Well, my uncle was Vietnam. He had it tougher. Oh, yeah? And what about Korea? What about World War II, motherfucker? Hey, my grandfather was a dope boy. You guys are all pussies. By the way, the same thing goes on the infantry. Fucking the Rangers, those infantry guys are a bunch of fucking pussies. They don't belong in the army. Hey, then you get SF, and they're like these fucking Rangers. They think they're fucking SF. They don't even belong. They're barely soldiers. And then you get Delta, who don't think anybody belongs in the army. Everybody should be as fucking squared away as them. It's like just the army. It'll always be that way. But go ahead, sir.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but like, he was really like reacting to like how like like the whole army thing went down regarding like they want to be more inclusive, and all that kind of business. And he thought it was just like a bunch of shit.
It is
because like it's like people just want to sign up to protect the country they love, and it's becoming to where like now that's even
he's in there. I can't speak on that, and I have heard some of like a lot of the guys I serve with are getting out. Like I'm coming up on 20 years since I signed up, so I mean most of my friends will be gone unless they're becoming like fucking sergeant majors of the army or fucking going to officer, becoming an officer or something like that. Even a guy I know. He just did 25 years, and he's a warrant officer. So I don't know. I've heard that how bad it is. I like to think that we have a Shot from the Point member that's currently serving. I don't want to say who he is, but yeah, I hope not. Yeah, they're going to use it to indoctrinate people. I think they've done it a little bit with the COVID shit. It's totally unnecessary for people in their peak health condition that have only a 1% chance of dying.
Not even.
Yeah, not even a 1% chance of dying if they're unvaccinated.
You got a better chance of falling down the steps and snapping your neck.
Yeah, but I think the fucking healthcare workers should have to if they haven't had COVID. That's the only fucking exception, I think. But whatever. But yeah, if that's the case, yeah, I mean they got to indoctrinate the army, and I'm sure they got a bunch of loud fucking Karen bitches with stripes yelling at everybody and trying to intimidate everybody because you can't. Here's the thing: when you're a guy in the army, like. No matter what your rank is, and somebody starts abusing you, you fucking say, "Hey, Sergeant, take your fucking rank off. I'll whip your fucking ass." Now you're risking a lot, but if old Sergeant, if he's been abusing you, and everybody's been seeing it, and you've waited a long fucking time, and he walks away, he's a bitch. Yeah, he's a fucking bitch. So I don't know. Maybe they're doing that. Maybe they're not. I like to think they aren't. But yeah. The reason I hope that's not true is because when I talk to Emory, and Emory's got people that got killed in Afghanistan, they sound pretty fucking squared away to me. You know, those guys didn't get
Right.
killed down there because of anything they did. They got killed because of the position they were put in. You know? So, and Amory was way higher level in the military than I was, and way fucking squared away. So, I hope he's not right. You can't worry about that stuff, but sometimes you got to stand up for what you believe in. That's what I would tell your friend. And sometimes you got to stand up for the military. I've done it, depending on the situation. But you got to be damn careful. It's like Kyle Rittenhouse. You got to have every little fucking check marks to make sure. Can't be like, who's the guys that killed that guy in Atlanta? Well, those guys got it wrong, and they're gonna have to do some time. Yeah,
man.
Same thing for him. All the best. And tell him, by the way, is he in now?
No, he's not in now.
Well, tell him I had it harder than he did. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Let's get the fuck out of here. I had enough fucking preaching.
All right, sounds good.
Let's get let's get back to funnies. Hopefully tomorrow. Well, they'll probably arrest Rittenhouse. What's his name? They'll probably arrest him federally. That'd be funny. Maybe you riot the other way if that's the case. But yeah, sure. I got 5 dead from COVID-19. Last one was my mom. No allergies to bees. I got 5 dead. What do you mean 5 dead? Lost 5 people. God damn. I know an Italian family in New Jersey. They all went to a fucking wedding. We wiped out the family. They were all obese. Thanks for the show. Thank you guys.
Yep.
I'll go back to being a douchebag real soon, and we're gonna try to get the Real Talk thing out before Christmas. I don't know, maybe more appropriate and has more time. I'll tell you right now, I put it off because I have to go to a kind of a dark place when I do the video, but we're almost there. There's like fucking 30 minutes of it done, and you know, once the beginning part is done, we have the middle part done, and the last part should be relatively easy, and you all see that. And I think December would probably be a better time for that. So I'll see you all this week.
Cool.
Thank you very much. Good times. You can always hear the spirit of the Real Talk right here, the Mentor Messiah. He's with us. I think about him every day. It's time to get working on his video. See you around. Bye-bye.
This is the almighty infinite, independent excellence. Devil fighting, rebel titan, weed smoking alchemist. Fake identities, okay, you cool with Jason Bourne. Running with these Wolverines, okay, you about to catch a storm. I ain't never been a liar, got tired of niggas playing me. Head in my legs like she about to catch a pedigree. Chi-town, the king's home, slapping 5's black stones. 6 mile to danger zones, bullets look like waffle cones. Folk affiliated to evolution of Machiavelli. Don't make me lead them eagles to you like I'm Chip Kelly. They feel my struggle, I express it through my hip hop. I'm about to make it hard to breathe. Here's a headline.
See you tomorrow.